The pros and cons of fat tires on an E-Trike. Stick around. Hey everyone, I'm Dustin. I have nearly 20 years experience in the bike and e-bike industry. Today we're going to talk about the pros and cons of fat tires on an E-Trike. Now, before we get into it, hit that subscribe button below. Stay in touch with us here at 630. Be the first to know about all the new content we're putting out, giveaways we're doing, and of course, new product releases. All right, I've got our lineup of some of our E-Trikes here. If you want to check them out, they're linked in the description below. I've got some fat tire, some medium fat tire, some thinner tire, and we're going to talk about the pros and cons of fat tires on an E-Trike. Now, there's this, I believe, obsession with fat tires in the industry. Everyone seems to want a fat tire or a fatter tire. Now, again, there's different versions of what people call a fat tire. I tend to prefer to call a 4-inch wide tire a fat tire, but over here on our relaxed body, we have a 3-inch, which is, you know, wider than standard, but obviously not as wide as a 4-inch. Then we have our narrower tires, which are 2 inches wide, which in the bike industry is actually still a wider tire, right? That's like a cruiser balloon type tire, 2 inches wide. So a lot of people love the fat tire. I think they're great. And like I said, there's pros and cons. So let's start with what I believe to be the cons. Number one, the wider tire is going to create more drag, which is ultimately going to drain your battery quicker. Now, you can make up for that, obviously, by having a larger battery. So typically when you have a fat tire E-Trike, you will obviously have, or most times you'll have a larger battery. Now, not always the case, but oftentimes. Now, larger battery also means increased cost to make up for, to give the rider the kind of range that they want. So just expect a fat tire version, most likely bigger battery, most likely a little bit of an increased cost. Now, the other thing with that drag of a fat tire is going up hills. Now, if you are buying an E-Trike in accordance with laws, which most laws in the country state, you can't have a motor bigger than 750 watts. When you're going up a serious hill with a 4-inch wide tire, it creates a lot more drag. So even if you're in pedal assist 5, you're gonna have a lot more drag versus if you have a version like these with a thinner tire. Going up big hills, that can actually make a big difference. So if you do a lot of pavement riding primarily, and you're gonna do a lot of hills, opting for a thinner tire may be a better choice because you'll roll smoother and have less restriction. Now, on the hills, it has a bigger impact if you're heavier. So while a heavier rider may like the foundation and the cushiness of the fatter tires, if you have these fat tires and you're like me, I'm over 200 pounds, and you go uphill, there's gonna be a lot of rubber on the road, which again makes it harder to climb those hills. So all these things to think about. If you have a fat tire 750 watt versus a thinner tire 750 watt with a 230 pound guy, 100% it's going to be easier to go uphill with the thinner tires, and I'm telling you from firsthand experience. So something to think about as well. Now, you'll be able to still get up the hill with either of them, but probably a little less effort with the thinner tire. Okay, so what else? So two of our cons are the battery drains quicker and the restrictions. I think those are the two, and then a little bit higher priced most likely. Now, let's get into the pros. The pros of a fatter tire is a wider wheelbase, more stability. Definitely a wider tire is going to add stability to your ride. When you talk about adding a 4-inch wide tire, you're talking about adding a lot of stability to the ride. The other benefit of a fatter tire is obviously better traction, both on-road and off-road. So you've got more rubber on the road. If you've got wetter conditions or loose gravel or dirt, having that wide knobby tread like that is of course going to be much better for off-roading than it would on a thinner tire. The other benefit of the fatter tire is the cushiness of it. So the tires, when they're 4-inch, these can basically act as your suspension. And you can lower the tire pressure in the tires to create a more soft, cushy ride, and the tires will absorb the bumps and bruises. So if you do a lot of off-roading, lower the tire pressure in the tires, it's gonna make those trail riders nice, smooth, and easy on your body. So if you're somebody that maybe just wants to cruise slow on pavement, you could lower the pressure down the tires. And again, it's gonna be a nice cushy ride. It's gonna absorb it. So huge benefit in that case to having the bigger tire. Another pro I think a lot of people like, and this could go either direction, is a lot of people like the appearance of them, right? It creates a big, beefier look to the bike. A lot of people prefer that. Some people may prefer the thinner tire, but it just makes it look like a more big piece of machinery. Now, on the flip side of that, on the con side, I will say if you are navigating indoors or small spaces, going in and out of elevators, then having something with a thinner tire, maybe more compact, like on the end there, also could be a better option. So yes, you're gonna add not only a little bit of weight, but a little bit of width and a little bit of height as well. So that is something to think about as well. I've said as well now about 100 times, but you've got the Simple Glide 750 watt fat tire, and we've got our 500 watt version here. This is a 4-inch wide tire. This is a 2-inch wide tire. So by increasing the width, you are also increasing the height. So this seat is about 2 inches higher than the seat of this one. So from a mounting and dismounting standpoint, that is something to consider as well. Also the step over height of the frame, because now you're lifting the frame off the ground, bringing that bar up. And for a lot of people, that 2 inches higher of the frame could be a big difference. That could be the difference between being able to get on your trike and not get on your trike. So remember, if you have a thinner tire, it's gonna keep it lower to the ground. Fatter tire is gonna bring it higher. Now, manufacturers could adjust for that by lowering the platform on the fat tire version and accommodating those things, but not always. Oftentimes you see the fat tire, the frames are higher, and they are a little bit more difficult to mount and dismount. Now, not necessarily. Now with the Simple Glide, it has this chair type setup, so both are easy to mount and dismount. But on a trike like this, where and this is a recumbent style, but a trike like this, where you're talking about needing the seat to go up and down and it's a pedal position right below your body, raising that up makes it definitely more difficult to mount the fat tire versus the thinner tire version. Doesn't have as much of an impact on a recumbent style E-Trike. So something to absolutely think about. So I think that covers the majority of the pros and cons. If I missed anything or you have any thoughts, please put it below in the comments or reach out to us, the team at sixthreezero.com, or call us 310-982-2877. Don't forget, we offer a 30-day test ride your E-Trike policy. If you don't love it in the first 30 days, send it back. No questions asked, no money out of your pocket. Also, we warranty everything for 1 year. Anything goes wrong in the first year, we'll take care of it, parts and labor. And if you want to come for a test ride, we're here in San Clemente, California at 1046 Calle Recodo. Come test ride all of our E-Trikes before you purchase and join our community. We have a Facebook group called 630 Peddlers. There's thousands of members in the group. Join before you purchase to talk to existing riders to ensure you're making the right choice. Then when you have yours, post in the group, make friends, and finally download the app to track your rides and compete on the leaderboard. So thanks for sticking around, and don't forget, it's your journey or experience. Enjoy the ride.